Speaker of the National Assembly yesterday, the Honorable Speaker Moses Masika Wetangula. Moses Masika Wetangula, who is supposed to be the referee, who is supposed to be the arbiter during the tabling of the motion, was in other words telling us that in his view, he supports the motion that is going to be filed before him tomorrow on the first day of October 2024. So that in a sense, we are having a referee who tells us before the beginning of the game that this team X, Manchester United, is going to win this game. Now you ask yourself, then what is the reason of now participating in the game altogether if the referee has decided even before the commencement of the game that this team is going to win? Now add to that, on the 22nd day of September 2024, we had the Deputy Speaker in the name of Honorable Gladys Shollei, the women representative of Uasin Gishu County, during a function that was held in Nandi County under the authority of the Nandi women representative. She stood firmly before the presence of the public and said that in her name as the Deputy Speaker, she's going to table a motion before Parliament to cause the removal of the Deputy President from office. Now, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly and the Speaker of the National Assembly have since told us, as members of the public, that they are in support of a motion which is going to be tabled by the Deputy Speaker. And they are going to ensure that the Honorable His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is going to be removed from office through the process of impeachment. So you then want to ask yourself here and now, then what is the import of subjecting the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to a constitutional process that is going to lead to his removal from office, if the people who are supposed to be the arbiter, the referees of the process, have already decided his fate? So those are some of the constitutional questions that we are asking the court. That, well, if this process is supposed to be done in a fair manner, in a fair process, a process that should sit well in accord with the Constitution, then should we allow the process to begin in the first place? Then secondly, in the year 2017, we had a very Solomonic judgment returned from our courts here, where the court directed that there must be compliance with the constitutional demands that we need to have a law. We need to have a law that promotes or will compel every public institution to promote the two-thirds gender principle. In a sense, our parliament must ensure that it meets the two-thirds gender principle. And this is the constitutional requirements, that from the promulgation of the Constitution in the year 2010, within 5 years, we were supposed to have a law that was going to ensure that even Parliament has not more than two-thirds of either gender in its representation. As it is today, Parliament does not have the two-thirds gender representation in Parliament. We have a Parliament that is full of testosterone. We have so many men in Parliament as opposed to women. So the question then that you want to ask yourself is whether Parliament, as it is currently constituted, can sit down and adjudicate on a motion, a constitutional process, while it is unconstitutionally composed. So those are some of the questions that we want to ask ourselves. We have asked the court to help us, at least in answering those questions. And we are hoping that when we return to court on the 9th day of October 2024, when we shall be receiving the directions, then the court will be able to tell us whether it is proper, it is just, it is constitutional to begin or consider the motion for the removal of the person of His Excellency, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. Thank you. That is all from me.
Thank you, members of the Fourth Estate. As I align myself with my seniors' sentiments, that indeed the state wants to take up a constitutional process to impeach the Deputy President. But at the very same instance, the state is neglecting serious constitutional gaps in our parliament, in our law, from the issue of parliament not even being properly constituted in terms of the 2/3 gender rule, and also the matter of public participation when it comes to the impeachment of state officers, because they are the products of the principles of the Constitution. So we are greatly troubled as to this process the state wants to undertake, and it's our position that they should first clean their house and ensure that even their own operations align to the Constitution before seeking to employ other constitutional measures against elected representatives of Kenya. So we are on board to protect the Constitution at whatever cost, and we will not rest until the Constitution is respected and upheld. Thank you.
We received instructions from Sheria Mtaani, a civil organization entity that defends the Constitution, constitutionalism, and the rule of law. That we go to court and defend under Article 2 of the Constitution, which says that every citizen of this country has a mandate to defend the Constitution. We filed a petition before the Constitutional Division of the High Court, where we have raised serious issues. First, there are grounds that the Deputy President has violated the Constitution by promoting ethnicity. We want to put it very clearly that the Deputy President does not have any power to appoint anybody. He is not an appointing authority. All the cabinet, all the 51 or 52 PSs, and you know, I'm very passionate that I had filed a matter that out of the 52 or 53 PSs, there's none from the Kisii community. That is the role of the president. So anybody trying to say that Rigiji has appointed anybody based on ethnicity, the Deputy President does not have any power at all to appoint even a cleaner. Two, we have gone to court based on the utterances done by the Deputy Speaker. One, Gladys boss Shollei, armed with a crude weapon, a bakora, a rungu, she uttered utterances to the effect that she will ensure she will throw out Rigiji from office. The police have not arrested her because she was armed with crude weapons. Two, she has confessed that whether Parliament votes and Rigiji survives, she will declare Rigiji the loser. Remember, voting in Parliament is by acclamation. It is the Speaker who hears the noise and decides which is loud. So, will Rigiji pretend to get justice before that Deputy Speaker? Definitely not. The Speaker himself does not vote when voting is going to be done. He has already said he is in sync with the people who want to vote out Rigiji. So, our position, and that's why we have gone to the court, is that under Article 47 of Fair Administrative Action, under Article 10 of the Constitution, the Deputy President needs to be given a fair platform. And that fair platform cannot be in both houses of Parliament. The third issue we are raising is that this matter is in court. Any discussing of this matter before Parliament will go against the rule of sub judice. This is a matter live before the court. In the morning, one petition was filed. We have filed another petition. Others are likely to be filed. That by itself, under the common law principle, it invokes the principle of sub judice. This is the same question that we raised in the Governor Kawira's matter in Meru, that the matter before Senate was sub judice. And Senate went ahead with impunity and impeached Governor Kawira. The High Court stopped that impeachment because that matter is sub judice. We expect that because we have already served the speakers, they will not allow the motion to be tabled. And if it is tabled, it offends the requirement of sub judice. Fourth, we have also raised a very fundamental question on who is the mover of this motion. As it looks, the mover of this motion is the President of the Republic of Kenya. Does he have the power that was settled in the BBI case, that the head of state cannot move a motion? It can only be moved by a member of parliament. So we will be raising that question, and we have raised it that the head of state cannot sponsor an impeachment motion against his deputy. Lastly, the Wajir decision of impeachment of the governor, the decision of PJ, Justice PJ Otieno, demands that any impeachment motion must be presented before members of the public for public participation. So if they defy and table the motion tomorrow, that motion must be brought to the Kenyans, and the Kenyans will have to give their views whether they brought in the deputy president to be impeached or not. It is our instructions from Sheria Mtani, which represents citizens of this country, that this impeachment motion is a way to divert very fundamental questions Kenyans are asking. Tomorrow, Kenyans are being dragged from NHIF to an entity that Kenyans don't want. That question has not been resolved. The question of Adan and the airports has not been resolved. The question about the funding, the model for funding for students going to university has not been resolved. Those are issues Parliament needs to address instead of being preoccupied with the deputy president's impeachment. So we have put to the nation that the impeachment of His Excellency the Deputy President is a decoy to allow government proceed and sell KICC, sell the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and others. Kwa hivyo yale tuliyosema kwa Kiswahili ni kwamba masuala tata yameibuka kule bungeni. Kwanza ya kwamba spika na naibu wake wameeleza wazi wazi kwamba watatumia vyeo vyao kunyima haki ule Rigiji, sababu yule deputy speaker akiwa amejiami na rungu, akiwa amejiami na bakora kule Nandi, aliweza kusema kwamba kwa kutumia nafasi yake ataweza kumuondoa Rigiji kitini. Speaker pia ule ambaye ni Wetangula pia amedokeza hayo. Tatu, sababu zilizotolewa kwa kumuondoa Rigiji ni kwamba yeye anaeneza ukabila, na tumeelezea kwamba wale makatibu na mawaziri wote walioteuliwa hakuna hata mmoja Rigiji amemteua. Kwa hivyo tunatarajia mahakama iweze kusikiza hii kesi na tumeweza kuwapatia ile ilani, na tunatarajia ifikapo tarehe 9 mwezi wa 10 tutaweza kupata hukumu, tukingojea ile public participation ambayo lazima ifanywe na tuweze kupata orodha ya wale walioidhinisha kule kuondolewa kwa Rigiji katika kiti chake cha naibu wa rais. Asanteni.